Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today here in this very exciting session that I'm very excited about. I'm Shubhangi and I lead the branding and communication efforts here at AND. Before we dive right into the conversation with Gautam, I would like to take a little bit of time to talk a little bit about who is it that and is, what we are, what do we do, why do we do it. So and Academy is the brainchild of Dr. Jitin Chadda, who's also the founder and CEO of Indian Institute of Art and Design. So IIAD has been around for more than a decade now. I want to say 12 plus years, and actually comes from that pedigree of having disseminated design education for more than a decade. Then when COVID hit, there was a need for disseminating or delivering design education online. So this sort of model was developed then and tested with IIT students and perfected, and um, then it was rolled out to the larger group with and academy. But the difference between IIAD and is that in IIAD you will find your degree courses, so your design programs and for your grad programs. But here at AND we offer professional short courses in the domains of graphic design, interior design, and UI UX design. Most of our courses are part-time. We have one full-time course in graphic design. And Other than that, all of the courses are part-time. Um, these courses are designed for people who are working professionals or have some, prior commitments during the day, so they cannot enroll in a full-time course, or they cannot give that much time during the week to learning dedicatedly. So these courses are still like shorter, but like their outcome or their quality of learning is not compromised on. So you really get like top class learning from the comfort of wherever you're based and in a short duration. Um, I've already spoken about the pedigree that is IID, which is where we come from. We also teach all of these courses online. So we teach you with the convenience of online with the effectiveness of offline. What does that mean? It means that we sort of simulate that environment that you'll find in a design classroom, in a design studio, in an offline college. So everything that you get there, your crits, your juries, your group discussions, your feedback, your peer learning, you get all of that here at AND just in an online environment. And we rely heavily on tech and human support to sort of emulate that environment for you. Um, all of our curriculum is also designed by people that are practitioners and also academicians, so the likes of Gautam, who are part of the industry, actively working, contributing, and taking the industry forward. So you get very relevant, up-to-date knowledge on what is happening in the design industry, what is working, what is not working, what is it a recruiter is looking for, what is it a client is looking for, etc., etc. So you get very up-to-date knowledge about design. I've also spoken about the live interactiveness of our classes. Not only are these courses designed by people that are working in the industry, but also delivered by same people. So you get to work with or like learn with people that are very much part of the industry. We also focus a lot on design processes and principles. So you do get to learn your software, which is your Photoshop or your Figma or your AutoCAD, Cahoom, SketchUp, etc. But what is it that you do with that software? How do you design? Do you, how do you break down a design problem, a design brief, how to think like a designer? These are the things that we actually focus on, and workflows, etc. Um, in our curriculum, you will find a lot of projects. So there is a module and then there's a project. So you learn something and then you apply it in your project. And these projects also borrow from challenges that you will face when you actually hit the ground running. So design briefs that are prevalent in the industry or asks from clients, these projects almost mimic those challenges. And then once you work on these projects, which are like multiple projects throughout the curriculum, you sort of culminate this portfolio of projects. So you have something to show for the duration of the course. So when you graduate, you can automatically start applying with that portfolio that you graduate with. So you have something to show for. Um, and also, we have a lot of faith in the quality of design education we provide, that we offer job guarantee on select courses and also career support on almost all of our courses. What does that mean is um, you work with a dedicated career services team to build your resume, to build your soft skills, to learn how to crack mock interviews, how to crack design tests, time tests, all of those things. You do aptitude tests, which stream of design does fit better for you, etc. So you do all of those things um, while you're enrolled in the course with a dedicated career services team. That is all about, and we've been around for 3 years, and we have now a community of 1400 plus learners, 50 plus mentor body, and we're rated 4.6 on Google. So if any of you are wanting to enroll with us, please check us out. With that, I will move on to the agenda for today. um, so this masterclass series, which is called Kaleidoscope, was conceptualized as a series where we invite design maestros and experts to sort of share their perspective on design and what is it that they think is happening in the design industry, what is going on, etc. We sort of pick their brain about design. Today we have with us Mr. Gautam, who's the founder and principal designer at Mfable, which is a design agency working at the intersection of branding, UI, UX, and strategy. Gautam is a designer at heart and entrepreneur by choice. He's the founder of Mfable, a digital powerhouse of UI, UX design, branding, and consulting. With over 17 years of experience, he has shaped digital growth across industries from banking and e-commerce to healthcare and energy, always focusing on exceptional user experiences. Beyond his work, Gautam mentors young designers and actively fosters India's design culture. An adventurer at heart, his exploration of diverse cultures enrich his creative perspective. Please join me in welcoming Gautam today.
Thank you so much. I was not expecting such an introduction, but it's cool. Yeah, I'm very much excited. And when I got a call from you regarding this opportunity, and whenever I get a chance to interact with new generation students, it's always very overwhelming for me because the kind of journey I've seen till now and the way the world is moving, it's pretty unpredictable, challenging and stuff. So it's good because whenever I interact with new kids who are going to be designer in like next couple of years, I learn a lot of things from them. So yeah.
Wonderful to have you, Gautam. So, without further ado, we'll just like dive right into the conversation and start at the very beginning, which is a wonderful place to start. How did you sort of, start your design journey, and how did your career path evolve with technology and AI?
I started my career way back in 2008. Okay, so I did my engineering in computer science and I landed my first job with Oracle Mumbai. So I was working with Oracle for like 4 years and I was I was a developer over there, Java developer, hardcore, programming. And that point of time, it was so I was into fintech. So HDFC Bank was my first client, and then that gave me a lot of perspective and understanding of how the product world works because they were using Oracle products and I was at the vendor side, and my job was to understand the pain points of the users and stuff. That point of time, design was not primarily used for the process because it was pretty simple. You get to know about the problem and then start coding. Okay, so I tried to kind of inculcate design in many ways there and also try to help the pre sales team to kind of pitch to the new client in a very new way and stuff. So that was like a changing you know that I thought of changing my career towards design, and then I decided to do my masters. So post 4 years of stint at Oracle, I did my master's in automotive designing. I was very passionate about automotive and stuff. But post my master's, what I realized is I already have vast experience in the software field. Then I thought of why not, take that advantage and move ahead. And then I got a chance to join L&T Technology Services. So from product to service, the journey was like completely different. So I learned a lot of things over there, and that led me to kind of give the confidence to start Mfable back in 2016. So post that, the journey is being very interesting because I always push design first approach, and we work with technology companies. And regarding the technology adoption, the scenarios haven't changed a lot. If I say that we used to design screens in Photoshop back in those days, and we adopted Figma very early, actually, 2015, we adopted Figma. And then we kind of, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah. So we kind of we had a very difficult challenge to convince our clients that we can use a cloud-based tool, because that point of time people were not very open about it, data security and stuff like. But it was very interesting because the collaboration started to happen post Figma. So a
Yeah.
lot of things changed afterwards, and post-COVID, we see a lot of AI things is happening, and then we have also changed our design process, and fundamentally, the way we approach to a problem has been changed a lot.
Correct. And when did you realize that AI is becoming, especially in the last 3 years, I think AI has been like all over. Everybody's using AI to just like even write like a small WhatsApp message for that matter. But when did this realization hit you that, you know what, AI has now entered workflows and it is going to hugely impact design for the coming years?
Honestly, I had this feeling since 2018-19, when there were many companies that were trying out different LLM models, where they could able to generate different kind of layouts, different kind of designs, and maybe automating different user flows and stuff. I had that feeling that AI is not going to be just an helper. Probably it will become a co-creator for designers. So I had that feeling, and then post-COVID, things changed really rapidly, because before that, we used to use a lot of AI-led products, not necessarily the way you see AI right now. But I had that feeling since 2018, 2019.
Right. And how would you say that the role of a designer has changed with like AI coming into the picture?
Oh, absolutely. This is a very interesting question, because I always tell this to my teammates at Mfable, that you need to also be very careful about how things are changing and how you can, adapt those things in your career. So designers are mostly moving from makers to strategists, I can say,
Correct.
because AI can generate ideas, and designers can maybe decide on how to use those ideas, because uh, the critical role of designers is very, very important these days right now,
Hmm.
because you can actually change a product perspective, and you can actually impact on the business aspects very much, and that is very, very important. You cannot tell that designers are like, you just sit around and then create some graphics or maybe some screens or UI. No, you have to look at the impact of the entire thing, how the business is moving, all those business metrics is, so that you can map your value to the output you are giving. So that is very important.
Correct. And so we have established that AI is becoming a co-creator and the role of a designer is becoming more that of a strategist and a thinker.
Yeah.
What skills do you think that say designers coming out as graduates or like starting their own careers in the next 5, 10 years, what skills should they be chasing?
So I can say, don't run behind different kind of tools. Understand how to use those tools is fine, because if I give you a recent example, then XD was kind of competing with Figma a few years ago, and now XD doesn't even exist. Okay, so you never know whether Figma or any sort of tools will be there in the future or not. So fundamental things you need to focus on. For example, problem framing, critical thinking. It is very, very important, and you need to understand different kind of industries and how you can apply those knowledge in that particular industry. I would also like to give some emphasis on data literacy. For example, you need to understand some, insights. You can create some data patterns through some data. Then storytelling and communication is also very, very important. It's not about just coming up with ideas. It's very important to communicate the story behind that idea is also very important. And lastly, maybe you should have an ethical design mindset. That is also very, very important because we are moving towards a very data centric world, and how ethically we can use those data and create a sense out of those data is very, very critical. Yeah.
Very, very much true. I think I've also studied design in a very different silo, which is architecture, and something that I have seen evolve and happen in my sort of field is that every time that, and architecture is a very old field, so every time a new thing comes around, we have to go back to the basics, like the square and the triangle and the circle. What Plato said, you have to go back to the basics. So your fundamentals and your thinking ability becomes supremely important. Correct. And as well as the ethics, what you shared. So, um, moving from this conversation, do you have any AI tools that you all have sort of incorporated in your workflow, or you think are really important to like now incorporate in people's workflows?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very important questions. In the previous question, I answered that you should not be very tool dependent. But
Yeah.
in this case, I would like to tell you that there are few workflows which is very mechanical, and we have kind of introduced AI intervention in our overall business function or maybe design process to minimize those human efforts over there, not
Yeah.
like replacing the brains. For example, uh, previously we used to do a lot of ideation through sketches and all, and these days we use a lot of AI tools to do a lot of ideations, so that is faster, better, and then it'll totally give you the opportunity to kind of quickly crack some design. Apart from that, we use some interesting Figma plugins which makes our life little easier. For example, let's say there are a few tools which helps us to make quick wireframes, and there are a few tools which help us to create copy for the websites or maybe applications or apps we are using, because we are not using placeholders anymore, because
Yeah. Yeah.
AI is helping us to give that context so that the prototypes looks really, really close and real. So image generation also we are using a lot. And apart from that, in our business function, for example, taking AI meeting notes, and that is kind of helping us. And within team communication is also becoming very, very interesting because of AI. We have almost eliminated the usage of emails now. Mostly we client, for client communication, we are using emails, but for internal communication, we are just happy with, products like Slack and the stuff where, decision making is kind of faster and better.
Right. And what do you think about using AI, because you're also sort of operating in the UI UX realm? So using AI for research, for interviews, etc., data collection, वगैरह वगैरह.
Yes, AI has given us a lot of power for, because here what is happening is the desk research is way more powerful now because of AI. Because a lot of things which we cannot do, let's say for example, I'm sitting in Pune and suppose I want to do some research, let's say for example, ethnographic research for a country like Australia or Thailand, I can get really good insights using AI of that particular region, particular context, their culture and behavior. Otherwise, it was very difficult because you need to go through a lot of reports, a lot of data, and then you have to kind of create some sense out of those things. AI is helping us with that. And apart from that, the research finding is also becoming very, very easier now. So suppose you want to represent those things, let's say I suppose collect one report of like 1,000 different columns of data, I can tell AI to kind of create some infographics and tell me that what this document is talking about, so that I can save a lot of time over there. If I find it very interesting, I'll go deeper. Probably I'll not use AI, and I can
Yeah, for
get
more
that.
preliminary research and findings. Yeah, correct, correct.
Yeah.
And so this is a question that every time we talk about AI, and this is like almost fear mongering that has happened in the design industry, which is, will AI take my job? So what do you think in the context of the future? What sort of designers are safe? They will not lose their job, but what sort of designers are a little, on a slippery slope that they will have to maybe move on to other roles or like figure out new skills?
I'll be brutally honest here. Okay. So the answer is yes and no, both. So the people who are going to survive this are the people who really understand the human behaviors, because AI is still not yet capable of that. So the roles like user UX research, maybe service designers, CX strategist, it will be there for sure. And in order to move to those roles, you need to be very, very particular about you know how you interact with users, and you need to understand human judgment compared
Yeah,
to visuals, or maybe how you represent data and stuff like that. It is going to be difficult for people who can be easily replaced by tools. For example, you are not very good at ideation. You are not able to come up with designs and ideas. Okay. So maybe I can just use some AI tools to generate ideas and then use my brain to kind of refine that.
yeah,
If you are not able to do that, articulate those ideas further, then it is kind of becomes a challenge.
yeah.
Yeah.
And what about people who are very heavily reliant? Actually, I've already spoken about this, but heavily reliant on software skills. So, will they also see the effect of this? No, yes.
This answer is also yes and no, because if you know how to adapt to new softwares, then probably it will not be very difficult. But if we are sticking to a particular thing, because I have seen people who are like very pro at Photoshop, and then they are UI UX designers, and they are not adapting Figma, for example, right now.
Right.
They are facing a lot of challenges. You need to be very adaptable towards using what kind of software you want. So first thing I would reiterate, fundamentals should be very clear. So
Hmm.
fundamentally, you should be very capable, and then use these tools as your friends. Don't need to compete with them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And Gautam, since you're also engaging a lot with young designers and also teaching, how do you see that the traditional landscape of design education evolve with AI?
Yeah. So this is very, very important. In fact, whenever I get a chance to advise to faculties or maybe college management, I always try to advise them that you need to always think ahead of time. Okay. So for example, the people who have joined their graduation this year, so 4 years later they're going to pass out, and 4 years later the landscape will be totally different. So we cannot teach them something which is like 10 years ago stuff, right? So we need to be very, very careful about what is there in the future. We should have a very clear understanding of how the trends are moving, and then equip the students with those kind of things. And the students should also be very, very careful about how the things are moving. And I think this generation, they have like, so they're born with smartphones, right? So data is there in their fingertips. So as faculties, probably we just need to guide them in a proper way. So the traditional way of teaching might not be very helpful right now. You have to be very open and collaborative. So जैसा रहता था ना teacher student वाला relationship. Now we have to be their friends and kind of guide them.
Right.
Yeah.
Um, okay, moving to the design industry or design as a field as it stands now. So necessity is the mother of all invention, and AI is here and AI is here to stay. How do you think that the very long used or very prominent principles that we use in the say in the field of user experience design or branding or interior design, whatever those principles might be. How do you think those will change, or does AI affect those, or how do you think if it does, how do you think it affects those principles?
No, not necessarily. I think the fundamental is still the same.
Correct.
And it is going to be like that. I can vouch for it. Uh, what happened with AI is the processes are faster. We can, have some breathing space. The way we used to handle clients, let's say maybe 4 clients in a month or so, now we can handle like 16 clients altogether using AI tools and stuff. We can better manage things. So that way, the fundamental is not going to change for sure. So that is still there, and the user flow and how the research methodologies are, or how you do ideation or maybe conceptualization and maybe prototyping, those methods may change. I can give you one example. So pre-COVID, we used to showcase our idea through different wireframes, and then we used to take that wireframe, make visual designs, and then prototype and show it to the client for feedback and stuff. These days, we are using heavily Figma Make, where we can create the prototypes on the go and ideate along with the prototype. So that
Hmm.
becomes very, very easy for the client to kind of actualize what the real software is going to look like. So that becomes very easy for us, and not just for software industry. We do a lot of projects for pharma, then healthcare, and then product development, automotive. So it helps a lot because you can synthesize and simulate those prototypes very easily now.
Right. And since we are so heavily reliant on technology to do like a lot of, um, say the mechanical work for us, how do you think that designers can sort of make or create this balance between, like, creating an automation and also, like, pushing their creative boundaries? What is the balance, and how do designers achieve that?
So I think every designers are different. So let's say if I'm comfortable in sitting and thinking about a lot of things, but compared to that, suppose you are not very comfortable in thinking about stuff, maybe you just try to create doodles and then you can ideate better. So you need to know your own superpower, okay, and then decide how you can improvise your own processes. For example, I am very comfortable at thinking. I can visualize a lot of things the way I want. I can ideate in my brain. Now I can just go create quick sketches, take that, put it in different tools, and make AI ideate more on those lines. So the first fundamental idea that comes from me, and then I try to create variations using that. And then once those ideation is there in front of my eyes, then I can start my sketching because it's kind of reducing my time. But not necessarily this thing will be helpful for you. Suppose
Correct.
you are already very fast in sketching, there is no point of, kind of use my methods to do it, right? So that is why I suggest that you need to know your superpower and then align those tools and products so that you can make things faster and better.
Correct. But the pond of creativity in every designer or every human being for that matter is only so much. So we need to regularly dip into our resources to just like refill or rejuvenate that pond. What are your resources? Do you listen to music? Are you looking at blogs? Are you looking at podcasts? Where are you finding your ideas? What is keeping you inspired?
This is a very interesting question, actually. So, I can say you are asking about my cheat codes.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So, as designers or any creative field, if I belong to, then a lot of times you feel very blank, and sometimes you just get lost because of so much of data, so much of tools, so many things, right? So the mental block is a very normal thing. What I usually do is I go for bike rides. Okay, so I love bike ridings because inside the helmet I don't think much. Okay, so in the background, music is like your engine noise, and then you are just heading ahead, and then aimlessly I ride. I'll just give you one example. We were doing one project for Kia Motors, automotive project, and that point of time, we were under tremendous pressure, and there was a lot of deadlines and stuff like that. And suddenly I felt that block. Nothing was coming out of my mind. It was pre-COVID, way back when it was before Kia Motors launched in India, actually. Then me and my wife, we went to Goa for breakfast and came back from Pune. Okay, then so it was like crazy because we started our journey late in the night, reached over there, had breakfast, and then came back. And after that, I was just fine. Okay, so that is my cheat code, but not necessarily you have to do that. It takes a years of practice to ride safe, but you can find your own way. Suppose whatever you like, you should continue doing that. Sketching, listening to music, whatever. But you
Right.
should understand that what you like the most, and you should do it more often.
Yeah. Okay, so looking ahead, what emerging trends should designers be aware of in the next 5, 10 years? Keeping AI in mind or not keeping AI in mind, what do you see as emerging around you?
Yeah. The immediate thing which I feel is generative AI is going to take over the normal AI, because generative AI is like, if I give examples, uh, normal AI is like you prompt to create some UI, but in generative AI you can build on the fly things. So there's a lot of disruption which is going to be happen, and many companies are like coming up with very crazy tools. For example, Comet recently launched their browser, and then in return, Google also integrated Gemini to Chrome. So things are changing very fast, and generative AI is going to be very crazy. Apart from that, we also see a lot of changes happening in voice and multimodal interfaces. Specifically, I see that changes in automotive, in car dashboard systems, and instrument panels. So there's a lot of multimodal interfaces which works in harmony to kind of give you that safer experiences. So we need to think about that. Maybe hyper personalization is also going to be very important going forward with AI. So maybe suppose you create one product right now, for example, Instagram. Instagram is behaving same for everyone, right? Maybe you will find Instagram when I log in, I'll see a different interface. When you log in, probably you will see a different interface based on how you approach. So that is very, very important. And I also reiterate about the ethical part of it, because there are many companies who are taking our own data and then they are repurpose. They're doing a lot of those things and then recreating things. So we need to be very careful about that. I think government regulation will also take over at some
Yeah,
point of time.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Um, so, okay, this is a two-parter sort of question.
Okay.
A, as a recruiter, as an employer of designer and a designer yourself, what is it that you are looking for in portfolios? Like
Mm.
what sort of projects and what sort of work should uh, people put in their portfolios? And the second part is how do you also judge for like AI readiness in their portfolio? So what sort of angle or what sort of um, exercises that should they put in their portfolio which sort of demonstrate like I'm a good designer but I'm also like AI ready.
Mm, mm. This is very interesting. First thing, I would like to say that your communication should be very clear what you really want, and do a bit of research about the company you are applying. Okay, I get some messages like, no subject line, email body में लिखा होगा PFA, then they'll give one link of
This is the
Google Drive.
opposite of hyper personalization.
Then imagine my situation, okay? I suppose I'm receiving 200 plus emails in a day, and in between you expect me to click one email who doesn't have a subject line and then no body. There is one click of there is one link which I have to click, download stuff, open it, and then review it. I
Correct.
usually delete that right away. Okay. So you need to be really, so suppose you tell that you are a UX designer, you need to understand about that user experience with the recruiter as well. You have to make it easier for them. जो बोल रहे हो कर लो. That is very, very important. Suppose you say that I can use generative AI to create websites, make it a website portfolio and send it. Just do it. Don't tell that you can. So that is very,
Correct.
very important. And then second thing is, uh, I'm not very bothered about how many projects you have in a portfolio. If you have one, have a very good one. That is very, very important. That should demonstrate that you understand people, you understand data points, you can create sense out of those data and implement those things in your project and finally come up with the solution. And when we have that interview round, you should explain your project properly. Don't try to copy paste and cheat yourself. So in this scenario, you can easily go to Figma community. I see that a lot. Figure community, and then you take up some project, do some changes, and then you put that in your portfolio. I see it in a daily basis, right? I can easily see and that okay, ये तो copy pasted वाला है, so let's reject it. So originality, keep that. It is very, very important, and don't judge yourself that how kind of finishing touches you are giving or not. You're starting your career. It's okay. We need to hire people who can think on their own. That is very, very important. बाकी
Correct.
स्किल सेट ब्रश अप तो हो जाएगा आगे जाके, so that should not be a problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Coming back to the AI conversation that we were having, do you have any personal anecdotes from when AI really either like really deteriorated your design or really like enhanced some design decision, like really drastic
Mhm.
change did AI make in your any of your projects?
I have experienced both the things in one project. I can tell you about that. So that project we are currently working on. So that project is a hardware plus software project. So we have to do a product design and the SaaS model of that product as well. So I can't give you much detail about it, but what I can say is while product designing, we did a lot of ideations using AI, and all the ideations were of no use for sure, because we are kind of trying to create something new. And AI, the biggest disadvantage of AI is they are trained on existing data, right? They can think on their own. So AI could not able to help us in finding out new ideas. AI failed that way. AI wasted our time for sure. And in the same project, AI helped us to create that research very, very beautifully, because we could able to find out really interesting data points for the end users. So combination of AI in research and our human intelligence in the ideation stage, combinedly the project was really good.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I will open the floor to questions now, because I think we've covered most of all what uh, I had in mind.
Uh,
So we can sort of move on to the questions from our audience members.
yeah.
Please use the Q&A box that you see at the bottom of your screen to put in your question, and then we'll answer it systematically. Okay.
Yeah. One question. Is
Yeah,
there a place
complete.
where we can learn to use AI as a designer?
Yeah.
Is there not a particular place, I would say, because currently you can actually find out a lot of information in internet. If you just go and search in the internet, you will see a lot of things. Uh, but the problem is, the data validity is very, very important. So there are many so-called influencers are there in internet, design influencers, and I understand that, those are very young. They have not seen many difficult projects in their life, and then they suggest few things which may not help the students. So try to use your brain to understand whether they're making sense or not, because in design industry, I see a lot of senior designers. They are not very active in social media. So voicing out in the social media is also very, very important. So try to find out people who make sense for you, and try to follow those things, and then also dig in. to different kind of tools and explore on your own. So do it practically. So, and if you have a student email ID, then you are the most powerful people on earth right now, because almost all AI tools are giving free access to students. So go and explore.
Yeah, I think trial and error is the key.
Yes.
Prajwal also has another question. Prajwal is asking how will the freelance design market be in the AI era? What will be the impact of it in the freelance market?
Yeah. So people have started giving a lot of work to freelancers. In fact, agencies also, they try to get on board few freelancers, but you need to have a very good discipline, because to be very honest, freelancers, they do not have that, trust quotient with the clients, because you need to have like very strong ethical standards, and then you also show a lot of commitments. So that is very, very important. But you also need to, uh, it's like you are a solopreneur, right? So you need to also adopt a lot of AI tools for your own processes to make your life easier. Suppose you are working on multiple projects, you should handle it in a proper way. There, AI can actually help you a lot. But becoming a solopreneur is also very, very challenging sometimes, because you are trading your time with money, right? So it's very important to take care of her health as well.
Right. Somebody is saying, I'm an architecture graduate, but I'd like to get into UI UX design. Can you give me some tips on where to begin?
Fundamentally, every design fields are the same, if I would say. So the way you approach any architectural project or any automotive project or any UI UX project, it's revolve around the people, right? So in the heart of it is always human-centered design. So you need to draw a parallel to understand how UI UX is close or far away from architecture, and then you can relate to that. And then also you need to start with some hands-on projects. That's the only way you can learn, um, by doing things, by committing mistakes, and then improvising on that and stuff. If you want to get into UI UX, just go for it. Yeah.
Somebody is asking, a lot of recruiters still don't take AI as a positive sign. If I'm using AI in my design process, what do you think I'm doing wrong in this process?
Very interesting question. You do not have to really tell about that you are using AI or not. You just show your project. Internally, you may use AI, but uh, this is also true that people do not prefer AI generated project. AI led project is fine. I mean, you should talk about your project, your understanding, your fundamental idea behind it, but don't necessarily have to justify that you are using AI to do that. So there is no point in kind of showcasing that in your portfolio or showcasing that in your CV. It's just that you can somewhere mention that you are ready to adapt. That should reflect in your portfolio and CV.
Correct. Yugvi is asking, as design students entering the industry, how can we prepare ourselves to collaborate with AI instead of competing with it? And what specific skills should we focus on building now to stay relevant in the coming 5 years? I think we've covered this in the
I have answered this one. Yeah. Yeah.
questions before. Do you want to add something to it or anything?
To stay relevant, as I was telling you, you have to be very, very careful about understanding people. And then you need to understand problem framing. Then critical thinking is very, very important. AI, right now, it is kind of a hype. Maybe at some point of time, AI will also settle down a bit, and that will
Correct.
become part of our life. And few things we will adopt, few things we'll reject. So those things will going to happen. So just
Correct.
focus on your fundamentals.
It's like when we started working on computers,
Yeah, yeah,
just doing manual hand stuff. Yeah,
yeah.
correct. Um, okay, so this is something that I was expecting would come, but okay, do you have any free AI resources that we can use?
I do not produce any AI tools as such, but yes, as I was telling, you can utilize your student email ID to get a hang of all these AI tools, because most of the AI tools are giving free access to students. And apart from that, also most
Do
of
you have
the
any recommendations of which ones do you think are,
okay,
better?
that way you are saying.
Yeah.
So, for ideation, we used to use a lot of Midjourney and DALL-E, but right now we are using Sora also. And for copywriting, we are using ChatGPT a lot. For research, we are using Perplexity, because that gives us the access to multiple LLM models so that we can easily do that. And apart from that, we use Figma AI a lot,
Hmm.
Figma in terms of Figma Make. And also we also use few Figma plugins, which is like easier for us. Yeah, one point I can actually tell you that we have moved our graphic designing things also to Figma these days. We are
Hmm.
not, we are seriously not using Illustrator anymore, because there are a lot of plugins which is there which can actually convert your Figma to print ready files.
Correct.
So we are using those things.
And I've heard a lot about Lovable also, that it can make very, like,
So there
uh,
are many tools actually. Yeah.
no.
So that is called vibe coding. So there are many tools if you can actually see. Lovable is very easy to use. So this is like prompt based coding, you can say. But uh, don't restrict yourself to that only. What I suggest is, if you use, let's say for websites, if you use, let's say Wix or maybe Webflow or maybe Framer, all are giving AI integrations these days. So you can integrate many other tools to this one, and then you need to understand those ecosystem. We are doing one project with Wix Studio, and then we realized that there's a lot of different tools. There also you can integrate different plugins, and then you can do manual coding as well. So that gives a lot of flexibility. And then there are also marketing integrations as well. So
Correct.
it's not just about creating the product, right? You need to go to the market and also test it over there. So you need to understand that way. Yeah.
Okay. Somebody's saying, "Hi, I want to move from growth marketing. I have 2.5 years experience to conversion rate optimization specialist, which involves a lot of UI UX plus marketing, like landing page optimization, etc. I'm very interested in this role. How to move in? Any thoughts?"
Very interesting. This field involves a lot of data points actually. So you should be very keen on understanding those data, because if you want to focus on conversion rates, then you need to understand how that particular, let's say, campaign or maybe landing page is performing, and how you can make those changes and then again run those campaigns and have better results. So where UX and UI is required is to understand the human psychology part of it. If you do not understand that, then it will become difficult for you to kind of make those changes in your existing design. And once you kind of do that, you should have a very keen understanding on human behavior. And along with that, you can actually combine your data insights and kind of become a very good CRO specialist.
Right. Somebody's saying, as there are so many tools coming on a daily basis, how can we make sure we are using the correct ones? Any tips?
Oh, we are also suffering from the same thing. Maybe at some point I'll ask you for tips. Because, yeah, because this is like the transition phase. Okay, so that is why most of the times you see a lot of tools are coming up, because most of the tools are like a wrapper to the existing tools. Okay, so there are like few LLM models in the world, and then people use those things and then create their own tools. It will settle down in a year or two max, because you will understand that for majority of the workflows there will be like few tools only.
Yeah,
But you can expect that this will going to be there for like next 1.5 years
yeah.
or so. Yeah,
Rajwal is saying, according to World Economic Forum Future Job Report 2025, graphic design is at least in UX is on top. What's your thought on this? I think they're talking about like as a
as a
career
career,
wise. Yeah.
as a career. So first of all, I would like to tell that this spectrum is like getting very bigger. So graphic designing is like a part of UI UX design, and UI UX design is a part of CX design. Okay, so you need to be very careful about what is your superpower. That is what I was telling, and you need to understand that where you fit in. So suppose you are a very good graphic designer, you do not really have to worry about it. And suppose you are very good at UX, you should not be very worry about it. Tools will come and go. But why this is on top, because this is kind of started to influence the business decisions, and then UI UX can actually make or break a product. So impact wise, it is creating a lot of what would I say? Lot of dependency. So if you do not have that design first approach in your product, then your product may fail. So that is why people are getting very serious about this. So if you look at new age startups from India, they are all design centric. They all have design centric approach and design first approach. Yeah.
Okay. And in current times, I also feel that the boundary, or like the outline of what you can actually call a designer is actually like expanding as we speak.
Blurred actually, it's very
Yeah,
blurred.
it's very blurred. So what used to be a UX developer now is also a UI UX designer, and like things. If you're doing UX also, then you might need to do UI also. So there's like specialists से हम थोड़े generalist की तरफ जाते जा रहे हैं.
Maximum people will be generalist, but the one who is going to top the ladder will be specialists for sure, because you need to also understand how you can utilize your skill set in that particular industry. Suppose we are doing something for, let's say, automotive or pharma. Are we really good at understanding pharma or automotive? That is also a very important factor to understand, because you need to also understand how things are changing in that field. Because normal UI UX design is fine. Because automotive में there's a lot of distraction guidelines, government rules, regulations. यूरोप में कुछ अलग चलता है, थाईलैंड में कुछ अलग चलता है, लेफ्ट हैंड ड्राइव, राइट हैंड ड्राइव. This is lot many things. So this is beyond design. Okay,
Design. Yeah,
but you need to understand those things to become a better design.
correct.
So it's
Yeah,
important. Generalist तो ठीक है, you can survive by becoming a generalist, but your aim should be, looking at becoming a specialist at some point of time.
correct.
Yeah.
Somebody saying using AI can also lead to some legal challenges. How do we prepare ourselves for that?
Oh, I'm glad for so whoever is this,
Mhm.
uh, thank you for this. Thank you for asking this question that you actually, uh, forced me to now talk about
Consider.
this. I was talking about ethical design, right? It is because of that, because right now that thing is very blurred. Okay, so let's say for example, OpenAI is trained on a lot of Reddit data, and Reddit data is very user centric data, and now they are kind of suggesting few things based on those human experiences. Now the problem is, uh, those all those LLM models are kind of fed into all this data till 2024, 25, 26 maybe. And after that, हम लोग अभी क्या कर रहे हैं? We are creating junk and pushing back to the system now. So आगे जाके बहुत तकलीफ होने वाली है. And then rest assured that if you have a logical brain, you will survive for sure. And legal challenges will happen because there are many people who have challenged these big corporates and drag them into courts. They say DeviantArt is one platform where artists put their work, right? And many of these LLM platforms are kind of trained on those things. And now they are creating artworks which you cannot tell original or something like that.
Correct.
Yeah. And while driving to my office, I always listen to radio, and then I always listen to this AI generated songs. And then the RJ always says that it's a great collaboration between the artist and AI. Now it's very difficult to create original content that way. Maybe at some point of time, governments, different countries, the governments will realize those things and then maybe come up with some regulations. For now, that is still a very blur thing.
Correct. Um, any thoughts on service design and design strategist? How can we move towards this goal?
Service design is very, very critical. And in the same way, design strategy is also very, very important because you kind of impact to a larger audience. And then service design is also very complex because you need to understand a lot of stakeholders. For example, you are designing signage for metro station. ऐसा एक example मैं लेता हूँ. So you see a lot of different kind of target audiences there, right? And then the signage should be in such a way that it should communicate the same thing to say all the different kind of people and stuff. And then apart from that, in critical industries, for example, healthcare, the service design is very, very important. And if one doctor is kind of interacting with a medical device and taking decision on behalf of a patient, then it becomes very challenging there. So that is why I told you, right? So become a generalist, that is fine, but you also need to understand the domain you like
Correct.
and get into it.
Okay, I think we have this last question from Sivanesan M. Uh, he's saying, thanks a lot for the valuable session, sir. Could you please tell us how we can improve communication and time management?
Wow.
Very cute question.
Very, very, very important question as well.
Important as well, yes.
Yeah. So communication is like it has become very, very important these days. Now imagine मैं एक example देता हूँ. Okay. So how you can communicate to your batchmates compared to your faculties compared to the recruiter you are talking about, right? You need to understand their history, their cultural differences and all. Okay, so generation wise, if you look at it, the way you communicate the Gen Z lingo, okay, maybe a boomer generation guy will not understand, and sometimes the millennial will take offense. You don't know you, but you need to communicate them. So you have to be very, very open about the user behavior. My way is highway वाला concept नहीं चलता है दुनिया में. ठीक है. I talk to Gen Zs in their language so that they can understand. And it's kind of challenging for me to kind of understand their language. It's changing every now and then. But that way I kind of extract the best out of them because I can communicate that. They need to also understand my boundaries, what is offensive for me or not. So that way you need to be very careful about those things and try to learn some formal communication when you are officially communicating to different recruiters or maybe clients. It is very, very important. And try to understand where is the borderline of uh, where you become very professional and become very witty. So थोड़ा सा कॉन्शियस होना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम बिकॉज पीपल डू नॉट लाइक टू टॉक टू बोरिंग पीपल एनीवे सो बहुत ज्यादा फॉर्मल होने से भी नहीं चलता है आज के टाइम पे सो यू हैव टू बी वेरी केयरफुल अबाउट दोस थिंग्स communication and another thing what was that?
Time time management.
Time management, yeah, it's very, very critical. Time management, I suggest everyone who is listening to me right now, take care of your health. It is very, very important. Give time to yourself. So you really need to understand the work hours you are kind of assigned yourself to. ठीक है. जैसे for example, post 6:37, I do not work for my office. Okay. So rest of the things I do post that. Suppose I want to do something for myself, I do it afterwards. Okay. We do not take meetings, calls, client communication post office hours. So and we do not also talk to each other. I'm talking about my teammates. We do not talk to each other in weekends. So that is one policy we are very much careful about. And you need to give time to yourself to figure out uh, the superpower you possess. And automatically you will get a hint how to manage your time. Nobody can actually advise people. If you ask me, I'll tell you about my experience, which may not be helpful for you. So थोड़ा सा ना ऐसा ध्यान लगाओ and खुद के बारे में सोचो. You'll get all those answers.
Thank you for all your insights on design and AI and education. I really feel rich and like I mean, there's so much information thrown at me. I need to sort of process it and like think about it also. Thank you so much for doing this with us, Gautam. I usually like to close all these sessions with my favorite question to ask that. if you were to redesign something and then there is no constraint in the world, you can redesign anything. You can redesign something very small like a safety pin also. You can redesign the Delhi Metro railway system also. What would you redesign?
There is something which is very close to my heart, which is automotive infotainment systems. These days, all these OEMs are getting crazy by slapping a lot bigger tab there. I think we need to go back to the basics. I just don't want to redesign. I want to enforce that as well. So the cars are becoming, distraction magnets now. And in the future also, you will feel like all the safety features is only going to be responsible for safety lapses. So I would like to redesign those things, and I would like to make few things which is very important. Get back to the basic, and probably I should feel like कार कार ही होना चाहिए उसको entertainment box नहीं बनाना चाहिए.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Gautam. Thank you, everyone who stuck around till the end of this session. I know it's a bit late, but thank you for joining us today. I hope you really learned something and had fun while at it. So, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Gautam. With that, I say good night and bye bye.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
Bye. Good
Bye.
night.
Good night.